Welcome to another episode of the True Territory Podcast. I'm your host, True.
I'm Flo,
I'm Ron.
And I'm Oz.
and we're going to kick this episode off talking about a little bit of ball. Some reports that came out of the NBA recently are a couple of teams apparently tried to make a trade for LeBron right before the deadline, and there's some unlikely teams, so we could get into that. Do you guys know about this already?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard.
So obviously the Warriors and apparently the 76ers both attempted to make some type of deal or trade for LeBron, and obviously the Warriors' goal was to pair him with longtime rival Steph Curry. What do you guys think about that from the Warriors' perspective? What do you think they were thinking?
I think they're just trying to throw up a Hail Mary. They're kind of in the slums right now. Clay hasn't been performing. They're trying to get another ring. They're on the downfall. A lot of people are talking about them, and I just think it's a cop out.
Yeah, the Warriors are 27 and 26 right now, so obviously trying to figure some stuff out. I believe at this point in the season they would be in the play-in tournament. They're not in the top 8 seeds.
Yeah.
So, True, you want to speak a little bit on where the Warriors are at right now? And
Yeah, so when I saw the report, I thought it was like some BS reporter, but then it was by Woj, and he's a credible reporter for the NBA. This doesn't come up without something happening behind the scenes, because nobody wakes up one day and it's like, oh, let me trade for LeBron James. And coming from a credible...
Sorry, I was just going to say, you don't think it's kind of like what Ron said, just a Hail Mary, like, see, why not?
I think that there's something... I think it's more so with LeBron. Maybe he's hinting he want to leave. He's been sending out cryptic tweets, even in his post-game interviews lately. It seems like he doesn't want to be there no more.
Like with the Knicks, you mean?
Yeah, with the Knicks. And so my assumption is the Warriors are hearing something. Let's go try and get Bron. I think that this, obviously right now it is a Hail Mary because it was just so sudden. But in the summer, man, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that LeBron was trying to send a message to the Lakers recently, especially with wearing the Knicks towel post-game.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Is he sending a message?
That was crazy, like with the whole towel thing. I don't know. I didn't even realize he would I didn't even realize those hints. I didn't see those hints that made him look like he wanted to leave. You know, it's not until I seen the reports.
Yeah.
The Sixers.
The Lakers aren't doing much better than the Warriors right now. They're 30 and 26. So obviously he has an option in his contract to basically leave
the whole Knicks thing is just you can't. I don't think you can trust that because it happened in the past when he wanted to join LA and he made it seem like he was getting an offer from the Knicks just to pressure LA into making him an offer. So he never intended on signing with them. He was just using them. And even it even came down from before KD signed with Brooklyn, how people thought he was going to sign with the Knicks, and then he said, "I'm not going to go play for the Knicks." Despite the Knicks being on a run right now, Jalen Brunson doing his thing, Julius Randle doing his thing, I still don't think anyone really wants to go play for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And do you think that's ownership reasons or
I don't know.
coaching?
I don't know.
I think it's ownership. I think right now
their ownership is doing. They're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They're on the up and up right now. They're better than the
Yeah, but before this past couple seasons, I think New Yorkers really, really wanted an ownership change. That's at least what I hear from my
New York
Knicks
fans always
fans.
want an ownership change. Every New York team, they've been through the struggle, so that everyone wants an ownership change in New York. But I don't know. I just think going back to the whole Steph and the Warriors thing, I just think it's a Hail Mary. Honestly, I don't think it's really him sending a message. I think the ownership is just trying to make just like a splash and just trying to, you attach LeBron to anything, it's going to bring in money.
Yeah.
So,
Question: do you guys think Steph Curry needs help in order to get?
no, he proved it. He does.
Yeah, I think he's proven it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I agree. He proved it in the past, but I mean, for this
this
the
point.
fact that they went and tried to get LeBron, do you think that that's them saying we need some help right now?
I honestly think Steph is in the mental stage right now where he doesn't care. He got his championships.
Yeah.
He proved himself to be one of the best shooters in the league, if not in league history. And I think now he's just coasting. Whatever happens. If they get him, cool. If not, he's not going to sit there and try to, engage and try to scout players to come join.
Yeah.
I don't think Curry. I don't think Curry's leaving Golden State either.
No.
No,
No,
he's
no,
definitely
not
not
at all.
leaving.
Yeah, no, I don't see that.
I think Steph Curry, LeBron, I really do think they do want to play with each other at some point in the career. And honestly, bro, if I'm the Lakers, I would trade LeBron to the Warriors.
For who
You
though?
can't get much out of him.
That's what I'm
But the
saying.
thing is, yes, you can. They have a bunch of young picks, young players on the roster they drafted a couple
Exactly.
years ago.
Why would the Warriors want to give that up for a guy who could retire in a year or two?
I mean, Steph Curry's 34, 35. Draymond's up there in age.
So you
The
need
Warriors
those
have no
picks.
time for development.
Exactly. So, but they need those picks because
Yeah,
you're
but-
gonna have to.
Well,
dismember your
he's
whole
saying
team.
he would trade LeBron if he was the Lakers.
Oh,
He's
the
not
Lakers.
saying
Oh,
he
the
would.
Lakers.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
not saying
okay.
he would take it if he was the Warriors.
I would trade LeBron to the Lakers. Bro,
Yeah, that trade makes my bad, but that trade makes sense for the Lakers, not for the Warriors.
Yeah, but even for
I wouldn't trade LeBron away. Even at this point, I mean, he's averaging, I think,
25.
like 24.8.
you wouldn't
points
trade
per
for him
game.
if you're the Lakers or the Warriors.
If I'm the Lakers, I'm still not giving up Bron.
Bro, I think that. Okay, side question: do you think LeBron's time with the Lakers was a disappointment
Nah, they got a ring. You can't say it was a
in the
disappointment.
bubble?
It's a
That counts, but outside of that, bro, like I was outside of that. First year they missed the playoffs. Second year championship. Third year the Suns beat them in the first round. Fourth year missed the playoffs. Last year they got swept, and this year they're not even doing. They're very inconsistent. So outside of that bubble championship, there's nothing really much to
outside of
rely
that
on.
year, they were disappointing. I do agree with that, but I think that has more to do with Anthony Davis than LeBron, to be honest. But I don't think we discredit that bubble ring. I think that
Oh, no,
everybody competed that year and everybody had a chance to win it. It was
Exactly.
equal opportunity.
Yeah. I think with the lack of assets they have, I think just go ahead, make make AD the guy, get some picks, get some players for Bron,
Yeah,
and
just
just
trade,
kind of
trade
start
away
fresh.
AD. Don't trade away LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. The AD.
Huh?
Trade away
inconsistent.
AD, not
AD's
LeBron.
bro. AD's,
I would agree with that also.
Anthony Davis is like 10 years younger.
Doesn't matter.
But he's not. He's too.
And remember, they
inconsistent,
traded
man.
for Anthony Davis. They traded for AD not to only contend, but when LeBron leaves, you're the next guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could also trade him for assets, and you could have LeBron's gonna be, even though he has a player option, I think he's gonna end his career with the Lakers. So I honestly think that they get young players in and have LeBron mentor them. I know I heard reports saying wherever his son gets drafted, he's gonna go there or whatever. I don't
believe
think
that.
that's the case. And if that's really the case, I don't see why the Lakers wouldn't pull some move to keep LeBron there.
Yeah.
Trade
Yeah,
up
I mean-
picks to draft his son, which by the way, his son is not even all that. His son is not even projected. I don't even think he was projected to be first round when he does go into the draft. So his son's not like the next best thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would consider, if I was the Lakers, I would consider drafting his son, trading up assets to try to draft his son, to keep LeBron there, mentor him, and mentor a bunch of other young players that they have to kind of build a new generation for the Lakers rather than kind of bank everything on AD. AD is glass.
Yeah.
I think besides business reasons, the team wanting to bring in more revenue from tickets and everything like that, just on the court, LeBron is still doing enough to justify keeping him. He's averaging 25, 7, and 7 right now, which is, I think, basically his career average anyway.
Yeah.
And so I think him and Steph are in the same kind of position where their teams are just kind of teetering on the edge of making the playoffs or play-in. But they're both individually playing well. It's just kind of the supporting cast around them
Yeah.
that's not doing much for them,
Yeah.
But going back to the question of, do you think Steph wants to play? I don't think Steph cares.
Yeah, me neither.
I think he just goes with the flow.
I
He doesn't
disagree.
care.
I think Steph is a competitor, man.
No. What I mean is, like, what he really wants to play with LeBron. Like, I don't think he cares for that. He's gonna compete, and if the ownership brings in anyone, whatever, he's gonna work with them to compete. I think it's more of a, if it were to happen, and if there were behind the scenes, I think it's more of a LeBron wants to play. I always got that vibe from LeBron that he's the one who wants to go play with these players, not
Yeah.
these players are saying we want to play with LeBron.
Yeah.
All right, well, I got a question for you because there's no way of us knowing if they want to or what their intention is. But if LeBron and Steph played with each other, how do you think that would go? Because I personally think
It wouldn't
And-
be good.
That'd be.
What?
I think that'd be.
I personally think if you switch, and I love Kyrie Irving, but if you switch Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry, those years where they faced in the finals like every
Yeah.
year, I personally think LeBron and Steph win it every single
Yeah,
year.
but
Yeah.
that was years
Yeah, that
ago
was
though.
at that.
No, I know, but I'm saying if you go back, that's always been my opinion, and it still kind of is. I think they would do great together. Obviously, not like they would have in those years, but I think they would be a great pair.
I mean, it's kind of similar to how people said the Suns are going to be out of this world now with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, and they're not even doing that great.
But that's not the same. LeBron and Steph both individually carried their teams and brought rings. So
And-
imagine,
and
I'm
they
saying
both-
imagine them together.
And they both fit like
Each
Curry's-
other's play
It
style.
seems unrealistic to me.
It seems
It's-
unrealistic, but
it's
Kevin
not-
Durant went to the Warriors, bro.
Yeah.
It's
True.
not.
Agreed.
Kevin Durant went to the Warriors. So let me ask you a question. Do you think Kevin Durant is not probably, he is top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Do you think Steph and KD could have won it alone, like together, alone? No, they needed
What do you mean?
Draymond. They needed Clay. They needed a supporting cast. The Warriors don't have that because if they get LeBron, they're gonna have to give up Clay. They're gonna have to give up Draymond at least minimum.
Well, I'm
They're
not
gonna
even
be able to
talking
do it
about like
alone.
their current teams or anything. I just mean them as a pair. If you put them on the same team, I think they have a good
I'm
chance.
speaking like right now. They
Right
wouldn't
now?
be able to. Right now, they wouldn't
Yeah,
be
the
able
Warriors
to do
don't have a
anything
great
because they're
team.
gonna have to give up their assets, and you can't bank on just Steph and LeBron doing everything.
I agree with that.
That's why I'm saying it's not going to be beneficial. It's going to be redundant.
Do you
and-
think the Lakers have a package that they would be able to offer the Warriors? That the Warriors would be interested.
Well,
For who?
for
Steph?
Steph, yeah.
Oh no.
oh, the Lakers to get Steph?
No.
Yeah. Do you think there's
The
anything
Warriors-
that they could do for Warriors?
No, not
Maybe.
at all. Steph is the Warriors are not letting.
What about
Steph.
AD?
Maybe AD,
No,
but
no.
even at that, I don't think so.
I don't
No.
think so either.
They would have to package multiple first round picks,
Which they barely have.
second round picks, AD, and a few other players to get Steph. And that may seem a little exaggerated, but we're talking about Steph Curry here.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
That's not happening. San Fran's not letting go. They're not letting go of.
Golden State.
Golden State. They're not letting go of Steph Curry anytime soon.
Yeah.
But this just to touch up on a different topic. This goes to show how corny the NBA is, and this is why I stopped watching it as much as I used to. It's all super teams now, and it's not competitive at all. And even the super teams aren't even doing that great.
I think that proves that it's not super teams then. If they're not doing that
But
great.
superstar players all coming together, showing that they can't handle it, but just coming together instead of competing against each other. Back when I used to watch it years and years and years ago, every team had their star player and everything was competitive. Then it started with the whole. Everyone says it started with Miami with LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh. That's not true. It started with Boston.
Agree.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, and then it started leading up to Golden State with KD joining, and then it went to Brooklyn. I may be skipping some other teams, but just on the top of my head, Brooklyn with Kyrie, Harden, and KD. What a disaster that was because they only played. I think in 2 years they played 18 games together.
Yeah, it was very little.
And then it went to again. I'm gonna just skip some more just to have the ones on the top of my head. Now look at Phoenix now with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, and then you have LeBron and AD with LA. The only true team that had superstar players that they didn't assemble them that were just drafted was the Warriors, which is why I don't understand why they did that whole KD thing because they were winning it without him.
Because they needed to beat LeBron. They knew they weren't going to beat LeBron.
Yeah, that's true.
Those years.
But regardless, I think it's corny, and this kind of bleeds into what I'm about to say right now. What's the owner's name for Philly? Daryl Morey.
GM.
the
the
GM.
GM deal.
Yeah, he sat there and he was trying to reach out to see if he could get a trade for Devin Booker, KD, Bradley Beal, and he wasn't trying to offer any of his star players, which makes
And
no
they're
sense.
also the second team that apparently tried to trade for LeBron before.
So that's exactly what I was going to say. That after Phoenix said no to any of them, they didn't even bother entertaining.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey went to LA and he was like, "Would you guys be willing to give up LeBron?" And they said, "Are you willing to give up Embiid?" So they actually entertained the idea of giving him up rather than Phoenix not entertaining it. But just that, it's like you're trying to set up like these unnecessary trades. Like Philly is good where they're at. What are you trying to get these star players for? I mean, I get it. They're usually first and second round exits, but you just build on that rather than trying to just bring in more star power. You don't need more star power.
I think
The
just
NBA's corny now.
just real quick before we go to the next topic, I think that now with the super teams, I think it's being calmed down a little bit because now when players ask out, they kind of give you a list instead of I'm gonna go to this team, I'm gonna play with this player. Now they give you a list of teams, which obviously eases things up. But what the con about it is free agency doesn't matter no more in the NBA
Right.
because now superstar players just
Yeah,
I
they
want
just-
out.
yeah.
And
It's not even only NBA; it's NFL too.
NFL, I think, is better in that sense.
it's not. NFL
It's harder
players will
for
just sit
NFL
out.
players.
Yeah.
They'll just sit out.
But then
They'll
they miss
just sit
out.
there.
That's
They miss out, yeah. But they won't care. They'll still sit up because they know they're going to end up getting what they want.
But the NFL players actually, what they differ from the NBA players, the NFL players actually play out their contract, whereas NBA, I mean, we saw Kevin Durant signed a big contract, and he axed out for a trade.
Yeah.
Who else big time player that got traded? But there's a lot of people that signed their contracts, and then 2 years into the contract, they want out. Whereas
like
NFL.
Kyrie.
Speaking of,
It's more of a player league now rather
Yeah.
than an ownership league, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it corny. I mean, I get it. Players could do whatever this is their lives, but you're getting paid the big money to sit there and play for these franchises. You can't just sit there and back out when things go bad. That's
Yeah.
You gotta go to work.
Facts.
yeah.
So-
I mean, look at my bad, but look at like I said, the old school times. Like look at Tracy McGrady, how he balled out for Houston. Never asked for a trade. Never really lashed out and said he wants to.
he
never
doesn't
got
have a ring though.
Exactly, he doesn't have a ring. That's what I'm saying. He could have asked to leave, but he chose not to. Dwayne Wade, despite the fact that he ended up getting traded towards and moving around a little bit towards the end of his season, but that's because it was, the end of his career, but that's because it was the end of his career. But while he was there the whole time, he never cared to ask for a trade. He stayed true to Miami. It's like players stay true to where they were going to play. Imagine Kobe, despite having, let's say he had some bad years.
He did request that 1 year.
Yeah, he almost did leave one time.
Yeah, but that was more because of an issue between him and Shaq.
Yeah.
That wasn't really like,
But still-
oh, we're not doing good. I want to go play with another team to do good. It's like,
Yeah, but had
if
the
you're not-
Lakers chose Shaq over Kobe, he would have left.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Kobe. Like, look what he did for your franchise at such a young age. So of course he's going to, if you're prioritizing someone else, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like Kobe was able to play with like scrubs and get far. LeBron was able to play like LeBron too. He stayed loyal to Cleveland even after he bounced. He came back to Cleveland and won them a ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, him leaving was still foul, but
Yeah, but he did what he had to do.
yeah.
But another thing I wanted to get into, we'll kind of pivot over to the NFL now. And I know you got your Jets jersey on, Ron. We'll start with you. What are you hoping the Jets do this offseason?
Stack up the offensive line. Have to go get a number 2 wide receiver, number 1 being, G-Dubs. I was thinking more like a Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins
Brandon
type
Ayuk?
situation. But Brandon Ayuk's not happening.
Never know.
San Fran's not letting him go. So there was someone who said, what did they say? Someone on was it NFL Network or I forgot who it was. Oh, Mike Tannenbaum. Didn't you hear what he said? How he was like the Jets should trade C.J. Mosley for Brandon Cooks.
Oh yeah, I
straight
saw
up.
that.
And then Bart
Sucks.
Scott was making fun of him for being a moron.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like, yeah, we need a wide receiver, but we don't got to give up C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
That's he's old, but he's the leader of our defense, you
Yeah.
know, and
He's a quarterback of our defense.
He's an all pro.
Yeah.
So 100% offensive line. We need to protect Rodgers. We can't let what happened last season happen again. And then I think we need to get a number 2 wide receiver. Honestly, besides that, we're stacked. We're good at running back. We'll be fine at wide receivers. Our tight end is playing better than he did when he first came. QB situation. We got to figure out our QB situation because God forbid something happens to Rodgers. We got to know what we're gonna do. But other than that, defense we're stacked. One more thing I'll say is get the hell rid of Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah, I
And
think.
go sign Eddie Jackson because he was just released by the Bears.
Hold on, let me say something real quick. What he said was right. Everything he said was right. But one thing he's missing. All right, I'm looking at the camera when I say this. Jamal Adams, baby. He wanted to come back to the Jets.
What are you gonna bring him back for?
Jamal Adams, when he came back when he got drafted in 2017, I was so happy. He's a great player and he's a culture changer. And you started to see a little bit of that. I understand why he left. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole nother
Guys,
thing.
Well, you
Traitor.
should get into
No,
that.
we're not going to get into that. We had a bad
should.
coach, bad regime, all that. But now, come play with Sauce, DJ, Quinnen, Quincy.
Okay, a few
Jamal
things.
Adams comes to the
I
Jets,
don't want
baby.
to take away.
We want you
I don't want
back.
to take away talking time from anyone, but just to touch up on that, a few things. One, whose spot would he play in?
Jordan Whitehead.
I just said Eddie Jackson's available. Who's better?
He's going to cost more money.
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
How many games has Jamal Adams played in the last 3 years with Seattle? He's injury
Yeah.
prone. That's it. He's done. He's
So
not
you-
playing. He's not
so-
playing a full season.
So you're fine paying a safety when you have other needs? Eddie Jackson wants money, dude. That's why the Bears cut
pay
him.
him. This is what you're trying to develop this defense.
How are you going to pay a safety, bro? Come on. We have
Why?
you just said you have offensive line needs, wide receiver needs, backup quarterback. Safety, you're going to pay him? Come on.
Another
dude.
thing
There's
you guys
money
are
to be
missing?
spent. I think we could all agree that Joe Douglas has been cheap. Not cheap. He's trying to be cost efficient in the past, and that hasn't worked out all the time. So I think he's coming with the mindset I have to be aggressive and start going after these players. So if he sees a safety,
safety is
he's
not
not going
his
to go after.
need.
And who's the one who traded Jamal Adams?
Him.
Yeah, so why would he go back and get him?
I mean, he granted his wish.
Knowing that he's injury prone. What's the point of getting him? Okay, so let's say hypothetically speaking, give me an average number Eddie Jackson would probably be looking for.
Over 10.
Over 10. What would we get Jamal Adams for?
Less than 10.
Okay, would you get Jamal Adams
Yes.
for less than 10 million? But then Eddie Jackson for over 10 million. But Eddie Jackson could play a whole season. Jamal Adams would probably play 1 or 2 games.
I would say Eddie Jackson.
What's the purpose? That's a waste of under $10 million.
But you don't understand. We have way other needs to get.
So-
But if we didn't have, if our O line was good, we had a wide receiver 2. We had all that. But with safety, we need help with that. He's right. Eddie Jackson, go get it from him. But we have literally 3 new offensive linemen to get with the quarterback,
I would
with
say,
the receiver.
I would say focus on the offensive linemen first. Get 2 to 3 really solid guys. Another thing I think you guys might be missing is number 2 at halfback. I don't think
Oh,
Cook
yes,
is
that
going to
too.
do it.
That too.
So we need someone behind Brees to share snaps with him and keep him.
Wait, who? Cook? We don't got Cook no more.
I'm saying we need someone behind Brees because we don't have Cook no more.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but we have already.
No,
Is
we
he?
don't.
No,
He's
man.
too
We
young.
we need someone more consistent behind Brees. We need an O line. We need a number 2 at wide receiver. And then after all that, if you can get Eddie Jackson,
You guys
I'm
don't have
for Eddie
faith. You
Jackson.
guys
Yeah.
don't have faith in Izzy. That's crazy.
He's nice, but he's
very young.
But yeah, bro,
Exactly.
He's very young.
So is Brees.
Would you trust Izzy on a championship team as to backup?
As a
Brees?
backup, yeah, I would.
To
To back up
backup
Brees,
Brees?
yes, I
No.
would.
Okay,
I
but one thing you're forgetting. What if Brees gets hurt again?
We can't trust.
That's what I'm
Izzy. Bro,
saying. I trust Izzy.
We did this last year, bro, with the receiver. We didn't get nobody besides Alan Lazard, and look what happened. Even with Gary Wilson.
No,
he's-
receiver is different. I'm talking about
No,
running
but-
back.
I will say I'm out on Jamal Adams though. I'm out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
definitely not.
too injury prone.
Do you-
I agree with
okay,
Ron in
fine.
that case, and
Hy-
also I feel
hypothetically-
like he'll want to be the star of the defense, and I think we have so many big
That
names on
I
defense.
disagree with. I think he'll humble himself to realize the Jets' defense is so savage that when I come in, I'm doing whatever they need me to do. But what are the 2 play styles Jamal Adams played in? Let me ask you that. Go ahead.
What do you mean?
What are the 2 different play styles? How did he play when he was with the Jets?
He was basically an extra linebacker.
He was a box safety.
And that's what we need.
How did he play when he was in Seattle?
Free safety.
And he got exposed. The games that he did play, he
That's
got
what I'm
exposed.
saying. We don't need him to do that.
We wouldn't need him as a box safety. We're stacked.
Dude,
we're
our
stacked
safety
already.
is gone. Jordan
Bro,
Whitehead is gone.
We're rushing 3 to 4 players. We're rushing 3 to 4 players on the defense. We're not even using any linebackers rushing either. It's just the D lineman, and we're getting pressure. Why the hell would we need a safety to apply pressure?
An extra,
That makes no
what's wrong-
sense.
What's wrong with that?
If we need extra, we have the linebackers for that. We have the extra guys around for that. We don't need the safety coming down to apply pressure. We didn't have a good defensive line or good linebackers when we had Jamal Adams. That's why they used him the way they did. We don't need that now. So his play style, where he thrives in, we don't need it. So we're paying money for something that we don't need. That's like, if we're gonna pay money for something we don't need, I'd rather pay Bryce Huff.
First of all, we need Bryce Huff, number 1. So,
But they're not gonna do it. That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna sign him. I truly don't think they're gonna sign him.
okay,
I hope
so
they do. I like
I
Bryce
hope
Huff.
they do too, but they're not going to sign him. He's going to cost money, and they know that they don't need him because they have enough guys on the line and behind the guys on the line to apply pressure and do what they have to do, and that's why they're going to try to get. Well, they're not even going to try to get because isn't he a free agent?
Who?
All right, so
Free agent, right?
if you guys had to rank, because we talked about O line, a second receiver, second halfback, and a safety.
The
If
most
you guys
important
had to
thing is
rank,
offensive line.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
I think they
but
could hit the
rank it.
offensive line. I think they could hit the offensive line needs in the draft, which wouldn't cost money because it's rookie deals. That's what I mean. It's not going to affect them.
They still need to sign
but you
him.
can't have a whole rookie offensive
the
line.
line.
I'm not saying it's a whole rookie.
And you need-
They
bro.
could get one. They could get one solid off. Okay, so we have who do we have right now? We're gonna get AVT back. We have Joe Tipman. We have Max Mitchell. Those are 3 solid guys that are young. Correct.
Max Mitchell. He's
Max
not
Mitchell is
solid.
solid. What are you
As
talking
a backup.
about?
Do we need a starting?
No, bro. He's good. When he was playing right guard and right tackle,
He's
and he
mid.
was shifting. He was doing perfectly fine.
You can't rely on him.
And so that's 3. Okay, fine, whatever. You can't rely on him. Let's just say that we're gonna keep him on the back end. All right. So we have AVT, Joe Tipman. Let's say we draft an offensive lineman, and then we go get 2 solid guys that aren't gonna cost much, that are kind of towards, I don't want to say the end of their career, but they
Veterans?
the veterans, yeah, that are solid. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at what we did on our defense. Who did we get? We got Al Jefferson and Quentin Jefferson, right?
Yeah, but those weren't major needs.
They weren't major needs, but they were old guys that we got for cheap, and they produced without doing that. We could do that on the offensive line.
We did.
David
we
Bacardi.
keep doing that.
David Bacardi, he's going to be cheap, and he's
He's the definition of injury prone. If you're talking about Jamal Adams, he's a definition, and I don't want him. And I know they're gonna get him because of Rodgers. I don't want him.
I actually wish they get him. That's one solid piece on the offensive line that knows how to protect Rodgers because he played majority of his time with Rodgers, and the Packers have a huge cap hit on him unless they release him. It only makes sense to get him. You could get him for the cheap. That's solving one offensive lineman problem, and then you have Max Mitchell, AVT, Joe Tippmann. You draft a lineman, and then you have anyone else that we have that's extra. That kind of gives us at least a start of where to go. But for the ranking purposes, offensive line is number one. I think they could do it in a cost-efficient way. Wide receiver number 2, I think you could get Calvin Ridley or Tyler Boyd or maybe even T. Higgins.
I would love T. Higgins.
At cost-efficient prices, too. I don't think they're going to be super expensive. The only way you start creeping into the super expensive pieces is if you're going for a Devontae or a Mike Evans. But I don't know. They might go after Mike Evans. I don't know about Devontae. I was in all on Devontae, but I don't think they do it. Why give up draft picks and all that when you could just sign a free agent? So I'm not sure. I think that if they do go after Mike Evans, then yeah, we're gonna take a hit on a safety maybe. But all I'm saying is, if we were to sit there and pay money, I'd rather pay the extra couple of million to have a guy who's gonna be here for a longer term with the defense that we have now, which is a playoff and potential Super Bowl contending defense. I'd rather have him rather than a box safety who's injury prone and could get injured 2 games into the season. He's done. Bro, he hasn't completed a whole season with Seattle. After talking all that smack saying he's going to be the guy in Seattle, he hasn't done anything.
Again, don't get me wrong.
You're just in like a lust
All right,
stage with him because you liked him from when he was with the Jets.
So let's reel it back to the rankings. So you said offensive line, wide receiver. What's
Safety.
next? Safety, and then running back?
Yeah.
All right, what about you?
Offensive line, receiver, quarterback, backup quarterback. We need 2 of them at least. Backup running back, then safety. That's what I'm saying. Safety with Jamal. I'll just real quick. Safety with Jamal. If he costs cheap, I don't see why not. We need a safety because Jordan Whitehead is a free agent now.
I'd actually rather keep. Well, yeah, but I'd rather keep Jordan Whitehead and re-sign him than get Jamal because Jordan Whitehead
Well, if they
didn't
cost
really
the same
produce.
price.
If they cost the same price, I'd get Jordan Whitehead. Only for one reason. Longevity. He'll play. Jordan Whitehead played majority of the season. Maybe he missed a game or 2, maybe, which I don't think. Yeah, maybe a game or 2. Jamal Adams is not playing no 17 games, dude. He's not.
Yeah.
So that's where I would leave it at.
Thoughts on the Jets offseason? What you're hoping to see from them this offseason and next season?
Definitely offensive line for Aaron Rodgers. Definitely a QB, backup QB for him. Definitely a 1 or 2 maybe good receivers and maybe some running backs too.
Mm-hmm. Say less.
Just a quick side note. Who, if you had one option, realistic option for a backup quarterback, who would you guys pick?
Jacoby Brissett.
Okay. Flo?
Circle back. What do you say?
Oz, do you have anything?
Not right now.
I was going to say Jacoby Brissett. I was going to say see what you could get at a Gardner Minshew if you can find a way to get that.
Maybe even Tannehill. I believe he's a free agent. Or even if he needs to be traded, I'd trade
So I would say a Gardner Minshew if you can because he came in after Anthony Richardson went down and he did his thing. But if you want my honest and real answer, find a way, even if you have to trade small assets, find a way to get back Mike White. I only say Mike White because Mike White did come and he did perform when we needed him to when Zach Wilson didn't show up. So imagine the mentorship that you could get from Rodgers.
I agree.
He could play. Look at Jordan Love.
Everyone thought. Stop with this mentor stuff.
Look.
We
We need actual ballers that know how to play quarterback.
Hold on.
I'm tired of the
Do
mentorship.
you want to know something? Jordan Love wasn't expected to be what he was. That was the mentorship behind Rodgers that he truly got. He took them to the playoffs, beat Dallas by a lot, and then he lost second round. But his first year,
for a backup quarterback, Ron is right. Mike White came in, did his thing, and he got cut in half by Matt Milano against the Bills, and that's what really screwed us because basically, I mean, I know you guys know this, but for the viewers, they finally decided to sit Zach. Mike White came in, did his thing, and like 2 games in, got cut in half. So they were forced to throw Zach back in, which nobody wanted. It was bad for Zach. It was bad for everyone. If Mike White didn't get hurt, that season ends so much better, and Mike White probably gets himself a starting job. honestly. I like Mike White, but to
Mike
answer your
White
question,
realistically can start, just because you said the starting job, Mike White can realistically start for, I'm not even going to over-exaggerate. I'll say 5 teams in the league right now, easily. He'll have the starting job easily.
I don't know.
I don't know
Easily.
about 5 teams,
I don't think
but
you start for
I never
anybody.
answer your question. Even though I like Mike White, I think Tyrod Taylor for a backup quarterback.
Chargers not bad. They even
He can come in and win you a game, bro.
Yeah, Chargers not
He's
bad.
he's old.
He's not bad though. As a
He's-
backup,
he's old, and
I
as
like
a I guess as a backup. But the thing is, you also got to think of the type of QB play that's going to mesh well with the type of offense we have. We don't have a
But
scrambling.
he's a veteran. I
we
mean,
don't have
let
a
me see.
scrambling type of offense. You know what I mean? Like we just need a quarterback. We have play. Garrett Wilson will find a way to jump in the air over whoever's on him and get the ball. We just have to find a quarterback that puts the ball in the right spot. That's it.
Yeah,
I might even say like double down, and I might even say make a deal for Justin Fields. Justin Fields is still young. Let him sit behind Rodgers.
bro, stop with this mentor stuff.
Could be.
But yeah, no,
Why?
he's a way different quarterback than Rodgers. So
We already know Justin Fields could run. What's his issue?
that's
His
like having
throwing.
Michael Jordan train Shaq, though. It's not the same.
No. It's all about accuracy and throwing. You don't need to be a deep ball quarterback. If you could throw accurate 5, 10, 15 yards down the field and you could run, that's all you need. You don't need to be They say that Justin Fields can't throw the deep ball and he's not accurate. Help him work on his accuracy and his reads and let him deliver the ball the right places. He's a dual threat now.
Yeah, but everything you just said is something that should come basic with a playoff caliber quarterback.
Well, yeah, but some quarterbacks just aren't like that.
Then why go after them?
Because you could kind of mold them into that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, bro, what's that? I'm tired of this molding crap, bro. I'm tired
What
of this.
about
bro, what are you
Baker
talking
Mayfield?
I'll take. I think the Bucks will keep him.
But wait,
He had a great year.
what's your problem with mentoring?
Bro,
what do you
I'm
think
tired
Rodgers,
of the mentor
What do you think
stuff.
Rodgers wants to do?
Win. He tried it with Zach this year. It
He didn't
sucks.
try it with Zach. What are you talking about?
Bro, I'm gonna mentor Zach. That
he
went-
wasn't
that-
even. He was
Yeah,
nowhere
he
to be
was
found because he
injured.
was rehabbing. What are
He
you
was
talking about?
injured.
How
He
could
ghosted
mentor
him. Rodgers,
couldn't
you
go to
ghosted
him.
my boy, man.
All right, yeah.
What are you talking about?
I'm
bro?
excited to get into my true or false.
Let's
You
get it.
guys ready for these?
Indeed.
All right, cool. The first one, it might be a hot take, and let's see how you guys feel about it. Because when we get into the stats, it seems kind of clear cut, but let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So, true or false? Randy Moss has a GOAT case over Jerry Rice. Now, you guys want to answer? Or you want me to run down their stats first?
Run it
No,
down.
no. Answer first. I'm curious to see what you think. I think he does have.
So you say true.
I say false.
You
I
say
think
true.
So, yeah.
Okay. You want me to run down the stats?
Yeah.
Randy Moss is clearly better. I already know this. Go ahead.
So you say his stats are clearly better, or him on the field just skillfully?
Everything in general.
Stats
Realistically,
included?
Yeah.
So Jerry Rice played 19 years. Randy Moss only played 14. Jerry leads in every single category, stats-wise. Like he's a leader in receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns. Randy Moss is 5th in yards, 2nd in touchdowns, which is crazy because he only played the 14 years, and 15th in receptions. Jerry Rice has 3 rings. Randy Moss has no rings. But for context, Jerry Rice, for most of his career, had Joe Montana and Steve Young, Hall of Fame quarterbacks consistently, right?
So did Moss.
Randy Moss had,
Brady only.
no, on the Vikings alone, he had Randall Cunningham, Jeff George, Dante Culpepper, Todd Bowman, Gus Ferrotti, and more just on the Vikings. And then he had Brady for like a year and a half, Matt Castle, Vikings Brett Favre, Alex Smith, and then he even caught a touchdown pass from Colin Kaepernick. So he went through a slew of quarterbacks, most of which were below average, if we're being honest. So
Super below average, besides maybe Dante Culpepper and Tom Brady.
Tom Brady,
Because even you said Brett Favre.
Vikings Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Like,
That's still good.
But he did do good that
Fighting.
year, but that's 1 year though. So
yeah, it's like even that still.
here's what I'll say. I didn't say my take yet. I personally like Randy Moss better, just to watch better. I think he's more exciting. He makes better plays and everything like that. And he does, he did play 5 less years, which you could say is a credit to Jerry Rice because he had longevity.
Yeah.
Or you can say, Randy Moss put up these numbers with only 14 years. But if you're saying that argument, you have to acknowledge that Randy Moss has more touchdowns per season, but Jerry Rice leads in every other category per season. So, and that's impressive over 5 more years, So I personally think Jerry Rice is the GOAT,
Yeah.
but if I'm picking one as a GM, I'm low-key going Randy Moss because I would love to see if you put him on the 49ers with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks almost his whole career, I think he ends up with the same numbers.
So I said it's true for Randy Moss, but it's not because I'm discrediting. I don't want anyone to come at me. I'm not discrediting Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is, he's the great. He is the greatest too. I just always believe that put Randy Moss in a situation where he had a legitimate quarterback instead of below average quarterbacks. And if he were to play, I know you could look at it from both angles, but if he were to play for a couple of more years, I think he would have done damage. I think he would have been in that talk. He's already in those talks with his stats currently. So imagine he actually played a couple more years with. Forget about the couple years. Imagine in the 14 years that he did play, he played with Tom Brady for 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Imagine he played with Dante Culpepper for like 5 years.
And it's
imagine
worth
the 4
noting,
years that he played with a consistent Vikings Brett Favre. Those 3 quarterbacks alone are top. I don't know about Dante Culpepper, but Brady and Favre are top tier with, so they're gonna sit there and.
It's worth noting that the year that he played with Tom Brady, 23 touchdowns in 1 year is the record for receiving touchdowns in a year. So he broke a record with Brady.
Isn't that the year they cheated?
The 16-0 year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The Deflategate?
Yeah.
Spygate.
Oh, Spygate.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he got that record in the cheating season.
Fair point, I guess.
No, respect. Randy Moss. But
It's not Randy. How is that cheating though? It was cheating for.
Deflategate.
No,
I'm just. That was a little joke.
Spygate.
That's
Hold on.
my bad.
Spygate was them seeing what they're doing on offense.
Oh yeah.
So it was
just a
helping
little
out their
joke.
defense.
Just a little joke, but
No, I'm just saying it's not. You can't really discredit.
no. For sure, man.
I don't like the Patriots. I hate them. I can't stand them, and I'm happy
They're
they got
some cheating
caught with
bastards.
that.
Except
But
Mac Jones.
I am saying it's like in realistic terms, that Spygate was to benefit the Patriots defense to know what the other opposing team's offense was doing. So
Yeah.
Randy Moss had nothing to do with it.
All right.
Okay, so let's just say he had let's say he had Tom Brady. You said a year or a year and a half. Let's say he had Tom Brady for 5 years. Forget about. Let's say he had all the other quarterbacks. He just had Tom Brady for 5 years. You're telling me he wouldn't have multiple of those seasons?
You can't say that.
23, 24, 25 touchdown season?
It's possible,
How many
but
yards
it's
did he
all
have that season?
hypothetical.
So yeah, you can't.
It's all hypothetical.
How many yards did he have that season?
I would have to look it up. Let me see.
He had to have over 1,500 yards easily, which isn't easy to do, by the way. It's 1,100, 1,200. Yeah, I guess that's normal. Not normal. That's the going rate for high-end receivers, but
So the season with the Patriots, 15,292. Oh no, this is his career. All right, so he was with the Patriots in 2007. That's when he caught the 23 touchdowns, and he had 1,493, so 1,493 yards.
7 yards less than 1,500, which
Yeah.
is yeah. So imagine he was with Brady for multiple years.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's all hypothetical, but you do have to make the argument.
All right, yeah, no, we see what you're saying. So you personally put Randy over him. The stats clearly go Jerry's way, but
Yes,
I see
clearly
if
go,
you-
and I love.
But
I love
but to be
Jerry,
fair
but-
to Jerry, even if you do go the stats per season, Jerry clears him in every single thing but touchdowns. But
Yeah.
regardless, let's head on to the next true or false. You can see the jersey I'm wearing, so you could probably know my answer from before I even answer it for real. But true or false, the 2009 Steelers defense was better than Seattle's Legion of Boom in 2013.
No.
false.
False.
You guys say
False.
run
Bro,
down the
Legion of
stats, or you
Boom,
guys
bro?
want to answer first?
False.
It ain't about okay.
Pull up Legion of Boom's roster for me, and I'm gonna pull up the Steelers
Dude,
roster.
that defensive. Oh my god.
So true. Go into why you think Legion of Boom is better,
Bro,
or I
Legion
could
of
run down the
Boom-
stats.
The Steelers' defense was for sure scary, but Legion of Boom, bro, that they literally struck fear, bro. When you played them, that was the year they shut out Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Richard Sherman, oh my God, what a year he had. Earl Thomas at the safety position, Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. was
Cam
wild.
Chancellor.
So
All right.
go ahead, read it off.
Steve-
I'm gonna save you the headache. Leave out James Harrison and leave out Troy
No,
Polamalu.
why would I leave them out?
Name any no. I'm saying leave them out because name anyone that was to that level.
Lamar
besides
Woodley.
Okay.
13 and a half
Okay.
sacks.
Okay.
What you mean?
Okay.
Ike Taylor was decent.
Mm,
Ryan Clark was pretty good.
mm.
But bro, Troy Polamalu. All right, let me get into it. Let me get into it.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying to just take them out like they don't count. I'm saying besides those two top tier defensive players, they didn't really have anyone else.
Okay.
Lamar,
All right. So take out Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor then.
Earl Thomas, Brendan Browning, KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irvin.
Bobby Wagner. Okay, but the rest. Okay.
No, they're all savages, bro.
All right.
Savages.
Let's get into the stats though. So points allowed. The Steelers allowed 231. They led the league. I'm sorry, that's Seattle. Allowed 231, led the league. Steelers also led the league with 237, so only allowed 6 more points for the whole season.
Went to Legion of Boom. Okay, that's
By 6 points, 1 touchdown over the entire season.
whether it's an inch or a mile, brother.
All right, if we really want to get into it, do you remember what play sent the Steelers to that Super Bowl in the AFC Championship?
A first down.
Troy Polamalu pick 6.
Oh.
What happened at the last second of the half in the Super Bowl? James Harrison, 100-yard pick 6. They don't win that Super Bowl without that defense.
Rigged.
The Seahawks won. The Seahawks won the playoffs with that defense too.
Okay, that's fine.
They
But
shut down.
but what I'm saying,
Peyton
all right. Give me 2 iconic plays that won them the playoff games or Super Bowl.
Doesn't really matter. It's
the
more.
Richard
It's
Sherman-
more. It's more of a whole.
Richard
Like that's what
Sherman
makes
and,
like one play doesn't
Okay,
make you a solid defense.
Do you remember-
He just said it.
Richard Sherman and Crabtree.
Yeah, that one play that he stopped him in the end zone. But do
Yeah.
you remember their defense scoring? I could be wrong, but do you remember their defense even
But
scoring?
what I'm saying is not about that.
But they got in their
it's
minds,
it's a
bro.
whole season worth of defensive stops and fear that they put in offenses that offenses didn't know how to maneuver.
For Legion of Boom. That
All right,
Legion
well,
of Boom is legendary, bro.
basically,
I'm not
bo-
discrediting Steelers. I'm just saying they're legendary.
Okay, but let me tell you why they're legendary. Because
Okay.
they led in every stat, which the Steelers also did. They're first in yards per game allowed, first in scoring defense, first in pass defense, second
Who
in
is
run
this?
defense.
Who is this?
Steelers. And like I said, their defense came up with multiple iconic, game-changing plays in the Seahawks in the playoffs. And you could say the same for the Seahawks, except for the game-changing, iconic plays.
Okay, so besides the plays, let's see the stops. Read me their defensive stats. Like how many picks
I
did they
just
have?
said.
No, how many picks did they have as a team? How many sacks did they have as a team?
Well, I mean,
Specifically the year that you said 2009, and I have 2013.
all right. Well, you looked it up already.
Yeah.
Then read it out while I look it up, because I just know what they were ranked in, which I read out.
Okay. So hold on, I have to add it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter because we already looked at the ranking. They were all first. The only thing that Steelers weren't first in is run defense, and they were second. They only allowed 80 yards per game running. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the Seahawks edge it stats-wise, but what I'm trying to say is during the game, in the game, they made way bigger plays than the Seahawks did, and that's why I'm putting them over them. That's my whole point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying that's not true. I get.
You said that's
no.
false.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, I know I'm not saying what your thing isn't valid, but what I'm saying is the reason why I gave it to Legion of Boom is because you can't base you can't base a solid defense just off of 1, 2, 3, 5 defensive stops / plays. It's just how they performed as a whole unit for a whole season consistently.
I got a question to
And I'm not saying the Steelers didn't do that. They both did it. The 2009 Steelers and the 2013 Legion of Boom defense, they were both solid defenses consistently throughout the whole season, which gave them that tier that they're on. But now you look at the stats like you just did, and you said it was steered towards the Legion of Boom. So you can't take that away from them and give it to the Steelers just because a few defensive plays. The defensive plays are molded into the stats that you just read. And despite those defensive plays, Seattle was still ahead.
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go by. Wait, Oz, you said false or true or false?
No, he's
False.
False. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Who had the better? Let's break into positions. Who had the better secondary, Seahawks or Steelers? Don't need to think, bro. They call Legion of Boom for a reason.
Okay, yeah.
Steelers. I mean, the Seahawks.
The Seahawks do have a better overall secondary.
Who
I
has
would
the
agree
better
with that.
Front seven.
I would say
Seahawks.
I would say Steelers. I would put Steelers. I would be more afraid of.
nah,
Bro, they're linebacker, like he said, Bobby Wagner.
bro.
Bruce Irvin, KJ Wright.
Their secondary, as in their safeties and cornerbacks, it's kind of a 50-50.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not.
I
It's
would
kind
even
of a
say
50-50.
Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman put them over the top, I would say.
Bro, he had two
but-
shutdown corners and two safeties that everybody feared.
Okay. You have it leaning towards Legion of Boom, but Steelers are still up there. But the front seven, that's
All right.
100% Seattle.
I got a
Yeah.
question for you guys.
Those were
I got a question for
hard-hitting
you guys.
dudes.
James Harrison won Defense Player of the Year that year, so he was in his prime. And Troy Polamalu is Troy Polamalu, the GOAT besides Ed Reed at safety. The GOAT. So do you guys think any one of Seattle's players are better than any one of those two?
At that time,
At that time?
career wise,
At that current, like the
In the 2000, the Legion of Boom in the Super Bowl year
yes,
that they
yes,
had.
yes,
Yes.
Who? Richard Sherman? You would put him over Polamalu?
yes.
yes, in that time,
In that time. Not
In that
career-wise.
time.
Don't say
Not career.
career-wise.
Yes, in that time, in that
2012.
Legion.
We're
of
talking
Boom
about prime
time.
Polamalu. We're talking about scooping it up off the field.
Bro,
with
Sherman-
his fingertips, Polamalu.
You're talking about one play,
Bro, you're talking. I'm not talking about one play.
You're talking about
Polamalu
the scooping it up.
consistently.
He didn't do that.
I'm
Every
talking
single
about
game.
the stage that he was in his career.
Yeah,
Hold on.
his mentality was.
He hit hard. He was probably top 5 in hardest hitting, top 5 in softest hands.
If he was
timed
top five,
he
some
timed
of the
the snap.
some of the Legion of Boom were probably
Name,
top 3.
name one player that timed the snap better than Polamalu. I can show you a whole highlight reel of him just. Bro, this guy will get to the quarterback before he hands it off to the running back.
So who impacted the game more, Richard Sherman or Troy
hold on,
Polamalu?
Troy Polamalu.
Hold on. So it seems like
He sent them to the Super Bowl.
okay, bro.
So did Richard Sherman.
Okay, so let's straighten something out because I feel like there's some bias here. You're wearing their jersey. You're only talking about one player. You're talking about Troy Polamalu,
I wore it for this debate. I said that.
who's the GOAT. I think he's top 2 in safeties with Ed Reed.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Besides him, you can't base a whole Steelers defense off of one player because
Nah.
because 98% of the
I'm
Legion
comparing
of-
him to Richard Sherman because you guys were telling
Okay.
me he's better than Troy Polamalu.
Okay,
That's
but
why I was
just wanna-
talking
I just
about
want to say
him.
something, okay? So we compared him. I don't even want to say we compared him because it's not fair. Take out the best player on the Steelers defense, which is Troy Polamalu. Take out the best player, one player, off of Seattle's Legion of Boom defense. One player, whoever you want. Which defense would you pick?
Seattle.
Let's just say you'd pick Seattle. So
Seattle.
you're being
But
biased.
that's like
just for
saying, take Michael Jordan off
No,
the
no, no,
off
that's
the
not what I'm
the-
saying. What I'm
the
saying-
Bulls. Yes, it is.
You're asking me which defense is better. That was your true. You said which one would you pick? Would you pick the 2009 Steelers defense, or would you pick the 2000? Hold on, let me finish. The 2009 Steelers defense or the 2013 Legion of Boom defense? You're not. But the way you're entering it, you're picking players.
I got a question for you.
You're not picking
I got a question for you.
defenses.
Wait,
Hold on,
I got a question
Let
for
me
you.
finish. I'm
Let-
talking. Let me finish.
But I'm responding to that one point. Because this is my point. The player, even if it's just one, they make the defense.
not
Because
true.
look, hold on, let me tell you. Take LeBron, his first couple years with the Cavs, when he can you even name the supporting cast that he had when he carried
Yes.
them? All right, but you can acknowledge they're all bums though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So take that team, and then take, let's say, any 500 team in the NBA today. I'm pretty sure you would take the team with LeBron over that 500 team, even though it's LeBron. If you take off LeBron, the Cavs become a worse
That's
team.
different, Flo.
It's not.
It's a whole different sport, bro.
Remember, the Steelers defense was great, of course, but Steelers offense was pretty good too.
They were great.
So,
but so was Seattle's offense. They had Marshawn Lynch, bro.
Bro, can I? I don't think you understand the point that I'm trying to make. The question here isn't Troy Polamalu or whatever. You just said you'll show us the highlight reel and scooping up and this and that. We're not
Bro,
talking
I
about
said
a player.
that after you told me Richard Sherman was better at that time than
understand,
Polamalu.
but that's what's driving your answer. But if it's not Troy Polamalu, it's their defense is not as good. Troy Polamalu made that defense. He legit made that defense. He's the one who you literally said he's the one who was getting all those majority
No,
of
but
those stops.
also James
I'm not
Harrison
just-
had Defensive Player of the Year, and go on.
What I'm saying is that defense was great. That defense was solid, 100%. But taking out one player, let's just say, I'm not even going to say God forbid because this is in the past. Let's say he had a season-ending injury in week 2. That defense would not perform the same. It wouldn't because he was majority of their defense when it came to the stops.
But you
What
can
would
say
James
the same
Harrison
for
have
Richard
to do?
Sherman, though.
No, that's not true. You
So-
could take out Richard Sherman. They still have
So you take out Richard Sherman, Seattle still leads defensively in every category that year?
I don't think-
100%.
No, I don't think they lead
100%.
defensively, but I think they still have the same impact where they
100%. Bro, Legion of Boom is mainly their. What do you think the Legion of Boom is? That hard hitting defense? It's mainly their linebackers. We're not talking about a safety. That's
Michael
all I'm
Bennett
saying.
is a monster.
All right, so you guys go Seahawks clearly, and I go Steelers. Let me just restate my point with going Steelers. I acknowledge that stats wise, the Seahawks edged them a bit, but I think if you look at the playoff run, the specific playoff run that both of them went on, I think that the Steelers defense made more big time plays than Seahawks defense. That's just how I feel.
But the question wasn't big time plays. It's which defense would you? What was your question? True
True
or
or
false?
false
You would choose this
was
defense
better.
over this defense, and this year and this year. So, what does it matter about the stops when? Okay, so if I'm I don't even want to. If I'm just a fan, and you sit there and tell me, would you rather this team or would you rather this team? This team led all the stats, but this team had these plays that were great defensive stops. The defensive stops that you're talking about were incorporated in the stats, which still didn't edge over Seattle.
Wait,
You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say.
I got a question for Flo, since he says the Steelers. Like Alice said when he said the Richard Sherman over Michael Crabtree to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which play was more impactful? Richard Sherman sending his team to the Super Bowl, or like you said, the James Harrison pick in the Super Bowl as well. But remember that wasn't the game-winning touchdown. That the Steelers won off Big Ben.
Hold on. So hold on. He asked me a question. Let me answer. He asked me a question. So Richard Sherman stopped Michael Crabtree, and then that play sent them to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he did his job. He got a stop.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now Troy Polamalu, AFC Championship game versus the Ravens. He picks off Joe Flacco. He runs it, and you guys can watch the play. He breaks.
remember.
He breaks a couple tackles. He runs it across the entire field, literally from left all the way to the right, and dives in for the pylon touchdown.
Yeah.
That play not only sent them to the Super Bowl, but did he not do more than Richard Sherman by, number one, picking it, not just stopping the play, but running it all the way back like a freaking kick returner?
Yeah.
That, I think, plays like that is what separates them too. But like I said, the stats do got it. You guys are right about that.
That play that you're talking about obviously is way more impactful because it's a linebacker running through the whole.
But that didn't win the game though.
It's not about winning the game because his stop didn't win the game. His stop stopped them from winning the game.
What do you mean?
So,
Sherman won the game.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like he stopped the game-winning, what would have been the game-winning drive or whatever. But that play was more impactful because a cornerback did his job. You don't expect a linebacker to return at 99 yards.
Yeah,
But
That's one. But what I'm saying is the question. All I was trying to say is you can't base your question off of plays. It's off of stats. Legion of Boom performed. Even if it's by a slight difference, they got the edge.
But so you're saying they have the edge because the stats are slightly better.
And
I'm
it's more
saying
of a
because
unit.
the stats are so similar, but the Steelers made so many bigger plays on defense. That's what puts them at the edge, in my opinion.
But
if you
I
take
get
just
what you're
stats,
saying.
that's your opinion. That's
I
cool.
know. I go, and it's not really. My mindset is it's not really just stats. My mindset is, like I said, hypothetically speaking, I know this didn't happen, but let's just say it did. If Troy Polamalu had a season-ending injury in week 2, that defense would take a hit because that's their best player. If a season-ending injury happened with Seattle, they were so stacked as a unit on all ends of the defense. I'll say out of the 11 players on defense, 9 of them were stacked. Maybe 2 were average. So even if one player fell, there was still another 8 that were stacked. You get what I'm saying? As a unit, Legion of Boom was
So you think they're deeper? They got more
deeper and deeper.
That's
and,
fair.
yeah.
I won't argue that.
That's the point that I was trying to
argue
make.
that.
Because you didn't say which players. You
All right,
said
so
which,
here's where the divide is. You're saying they're better because they're deeper. I'm saying they're better because they make bigger plays. That's all it is.
yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And for context, both teams, the Steelers were 12-4 that year. The Seahawks were 13-3 that year, and they both faced Hall of Fame offenses. Like obviously the Seahawks, Tom Brady and them, Gronkowski, whatever. And then the Steelers faced Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and Hall of Fame wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, who's a dog.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to the last true or false. This one is similar in the sense that the two players we're comparing have shockingly similar careers. The statement, true or false, Tim Duncan was better than Shaq or had a better career than Shaq.
I think okay. I'll go. Better career.
Better career, Tim
I think
Duncan.
true, but better player. I'll say Shaq, but better career, Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Better career, Tim
Stats-wise
Duncan.
and all
Better
that.
player in general. Dominance, It's Shaq, yeah.
Since I
Actually,
guess
Shaq even admitted that was one of the toughest people he played against.
Yeah. All right, since we all agree that he has the better career, but it sounds like you all think that Shaq is the better player.
Yeah.
Does that mean that if you were a GM and had the choice between prime Shaq or prime Tim Duncan, you're going with Shaq?
I would go with Tim Duncan.
I'll go with Tim.
I think I'm going Tim Duncan, and I'll read out their stats just so you guys can see how shockingly similar, man. So they both played 19 years in the NBA. Crazy. So same amount of years. Tim Duncan has 5 rings to Shaq's 4. Tim Duncan has 18 playoff appearances to Shaq's 17.
God damn.
All-Star games, 15 to 15. Season MVPs, Tim Duncan has 2 to Shaq's 1. Finals MVP, 3 each. All NBA first team, 10 to 8 in favor of Tim Duncan. All NBA teams in general, 15 to Shaq's 14. So you see he edges him basically just slightly in everything. All defensive first team, 8 to Tim Duncan, 0 to Shaq. All defensive teams total, 15 Tim Duncan, 3 Shaq. Scoring leader, though, Shaq has 2 to Tim Duncan, 0. So you're seeing a trend here. They both won Rookie of the Year. So the trend basically is in every stat category offensively, Shaq edges him. Defensively,
Tim Duncan edges him.
Tim Duncan edges him.
No, Tim Duncan edges him in offense and defense.
No, because Shaq has the scoring leader, and I'll get into also points per game. Shaq's 24 over his career to Tim Duncan's 19. But then rebounds, steals, and blocks are all off by 0.1 in favor of Tim Duncan.
No.
So basically the trend here.
You also got to remember who Shaq played with, right?
They both had great casts around them.
But the difference is Shaq played with all these stars. Tim Duncan played with these draftees that he
And Hall of
came in
Fame
with.
coach his whole career.
And yeah, but like they were, it's basically, it goes back to the LeBron and the Golden State Warriors conversation. Shaq in this case is like LeBron. Tim Duncan is kind of like a part of the Golden State Warriors. He was drafted with all these, and they built a franchise together. And by the way, Shaq is just dominant, bro. Yeah. But Tim Duncan is the most fundamental player I've ever seen in my life.
Well, look, so total points. Tim Duncan has 26,000 to Shaq's 28,000. I'm just rounding here. Rebounds, Tim Duncan has 2K more. Total assists, Tim Duncan has 1,200 more. Total steals, Tim Duncan has 300 more. Total blocks, he has 300 more. Total games, he has almost 200 more, even though they played the same amount of years. So you see, basically, Tim Duncan was more consistent playing-wise. He edged in every single stat except scoring. And he has 1 more ring and 1 more finals MVP. So that's basically their careers summed up.
Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan, like Ron said, he's fundamental as hell. But, I mean, he benefited from playing the same system.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to change nothing. It's adjusted nothing.
But he chose not to change. Shaq chose to change offenses.
That's not discrediting Tim, but Tim for sure. Shaq is more dominant, but Tim's just a better all-around.
I think that they both have very similar careers, like I obviously just said. Yeah. But I think personalities, they were polar opposites, and I think that plays into it because Shaq marketed himself a lot better. He's a lot funnier. He gets a lot more hyped up and energized, whereas Tim Duncan is more quiet and reserved. Right. So I feel like for that reason, he's not talked about as much. Like Shaq is still on TV till this day. He's one of the biggest stars. Yeah. But if you look at everything, it looks like besides scoring, Tim Duncan really edges him. And also off the court, there has to be a reason Shaq bounced around to so many different teams and Tim didn't, you know?
Yeah.
True.
He chose it that way. He wanted to get traded. Shaq was a little bit of a diva on the court.
Yeah.
He got frustrated when he didn't get things his way. He had the whole issue with Kobe. He was winning championships with Kobe, and instead he was like choosing. I think it got to the point where he went from LA to Miami, and the reason why is because they were saying like, we're putting the priority on Kobe, who's younger than you. But he's the leader. He's the leader to this. Shaq didn't like it, and he bounced. So instead of like staying to win more, he was part of that unit. He ended up deciding to leave to Miami to go play with Dwayne Wade just because he didn't have it his way. Mm-hmm. Shaq he's a little bit of a diva.
Yeah. No, I would take Tim over Shaq. I'm being completely honest. As a GM and just as a player, But that's not a knock on Shaq. But
No, of course not.
did you guys expect their stats to be so similar though? When I
No.
was researching,
Not
I
that
did.
close.
Nah, not that close.
I did.
it was
They
super
were that was
close.
back in the 90s and the early 2000s when centers actually played their position. Now you got like Joel Embiid
Three-point
launching a
shooters.
three,
Yeah.
Jokic launching a three. Back then they were just straight rebounds and dunks and layups and shots off the backboard.
Yeah, another thing I didn't read is their stats per game. Shaq basically had 30 points per game. Tim Duncan basically had 26. Rebounds, again, Tim Duncan 12.9. Shaq is 13.9. Then assists 3.9 to 3.8, Tim Duncan. Steals per game, 0.9 each. And then blocks per game, Shaquille got 3.5 to 2.9. So another trend you see is per game. Shaq edges per season and for career.
Yeah.
That's when Tim Duncan got it. So I guess it's a longevity thing. Probably got injured less.
Also, towards the end of Shaq's career, I do want to say that he started to hit a decline. I don't think Tim Duncan did that. I think Tim Duncan was somewhat
he
consistent throughout the
acknowledges that.
19
He
years.
said on his podcast, he wanted to make it to 20 years, but he just wasn't the same Shaq.
Yeah.
You know?
But Tim Duncan stayed fairly consistent through the 19 years. He didn't hit a major decline like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so that plays a factor too.
Yeah. But that's pretty much all I had for my true or false. So I guess
Good
that
ones.
wraps up this episode. Any last statements you guys want to make?
The Jets better not get Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams, I got you, buddy.
Jets, Super Bowl 2024.
Let's do it.
Let's go. God willing. But thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, follow the socials. They'll be on the screen. And stay tuned for next episode, man.
See y'all next
Come
week.
vibe
Hey, you
with us.
can't spell truth.
Appreciate y'all.
You can't spell truth without putting that true in it.
You cannot.
Come on, bro. That's good, bro. All right, guys.
It is.
yeah.
I like it.